Amamba or yeah, you get what I mean. But yeah, damn, I said a lot of things. Hey, we're heading back into the matchup here tonight. It's TNC getting a point over Twisted Minds. Off to a great start are the Phoenix Army, and they will be the ones to pick on the red side. They have a 50% win rate on that, but based on the unpredictability of TNC that we have been discussing for quite some time now, yeah, they're going to showcase what they can do with the second pick.
Actually, it was Twisted Minds who drafted a little bit more in the line of TNC Pro Team in game number 1 as they were on the blue side. Now with TNC Pro Team again being on the red, they actually they were pretty straightforward with it. They went for the Lancelot, got on Kacha. They were willing to give the Kalea to Kaloy. They didn't care about it. They already saw the juice in, so they know that even if Twisted Minds goes for the pick off comfort, you're not going to get the burst right away with it. And then, surprisingly enough, TNC Pro Team got to escape with a red 3-1-1 pick that I feel like is criminal that they got away with that. And at that point, it's like, all right, you drafted so well. You drafted like straight to the cuff. Y'all deserve to get the game 1 win.
Dude, it was like a Michael's...
Kalau kalah lagi, sama kayak Napi kan, MPL lagi.
Really see that 1-1 being picked up late. I think it was, you know, a miss time coming in from Coach Bonchan and Coach Esson, but hey, they don't make the same mistake twice. I think that's what I've learned from their coaching style and the way that they have coached these rookies together with Lansu and MP the King. We're gonna do another dangerous grass. And there's a certain statistic to that part already because it's a 0-1 situation specifically for Twisted Minds, but they're looking to change that game number 2.
In terms of the bans, Twisted Minds now open up the Fanny, actually. They still ban out the CC Grok, but this time around they're banning out the Juice in, so they don't want to pick it up themselves, and they just don't want to give it to TNC either. While for TNC, this time they're taking away the Uranus Baksha, and they still take out the Kimmy. Still very similar bans, the exact same bans, from game number 1 for TNC. So now Twisted Minds respecting the Gatot Gacha. This is the second favorite of Kaloy. After the Kalea, it's Gatot Gacha. And they just don't want to give it to Chatno. I think they just had enough of it after what his performance in game number 1.
Just like what happened in game number 1, they want to choose their poison. They want to choose their battle. So they're leaving the Fanny open at this point, which could be a potential hero for Zyda to pick. But knowing this, I'm sure that Twisted Minds have something else up in their sleeve to try to put the stops on that very agile hero. And the same could be said for 3mar TZ, or 3mar rather. The question is if he will be picking up that Lapu Lapu again, but I think it's gonna be a matter of time for them to decide on that because the Gatot Gacha was already denied from the Phoenix Army, and for them, they're gonna be going quite different. Picking up a YSS and also a Hilda for Chaco here.
Ooh, okay, one of those Zyda comfort picks off of the season alongside that Lancelot. And they're still running for making sure that they get the Chaco pick early on. It would be very rare to see this Hilda flex into the XP. I know that's a thing that happened before, but in most scenarios in recent memory, it's the Hilda going into the roam. So I think it's them backing on the idea that TNC, with the Baksha gone, that they're most likely still going to be going for the Assassins, because historically, that's what Twisted Mind shows.
Right.
So are they going to go Fredrin, or are they going to switch things up for MP the King? No, they still want to go for the Lancelot. So that was a pick by TNC. They still knew that Twisted Minds will go Assassin, so they go Hilda instead for the rush. What a decision.
I think they believed in the fact that the Gatot Gacha being removed from Chakno is going to be enough for them to at least set up some plays here for Twisted Minds. Because compared to what happened in game number 1, it was Chakno initiating first, 3mar joining in the party, but for Lancy, that's going to be another pickup, which is a Lunox that has been, you know, quite relevant so far in our last, I would say, 6 games.
Yeah. In game number 1, this was banned out by Twisted Minds. Second phase, blue side. Now Lancy gets it early. And I like the adjustment of TNC. So, instead of taking a different approach to addressing the Lancy problem of mispositioning at times, they allow Lancy to just pick up a hero that have ways out if he's gonna front.
Right.
The Valentina had the Tsunami Slam Steel that, of course, like, yeah, Lancy, just go for it, you know?
Yeah.
While the Lunox now has the power of Order Brilliance, so like, you know, Lancy, you have your ultimate to get away if you want to, so interesting approach, TNC Pro Team, and honestly, I go with it. Hey, it's time That's Taro.
so, yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
MLBB.
I think she's currently part of DMBI, if I remember.
Yeah, she is in Twisted Minds.
Yeah. So they recently made their debut as the very first Filipina team to make it into the MPL, so major achievement for them. But on the other hand, you also have some options here for Twisted Minds. What can they do differently in this situation? Hey, Senio. I don't know if you know him, but you probably do now.
That's a rap star.
That's a rap star, bro.
gigit
That's not, we're not talking OG, but that's a rap star.
Yeah, that dude can destroy you with his words.
Lah.
What? Wait a minute. What? Bro, I thought we were in dangerous
Okay,
grass.
okay.
Why did I see broken balls?
Elis. Cek sana.
We're playing dangerous grass.
Why are we seeing
Broken walls. Bro, someone
Kok
get
giginya
that
bisa
guy
gitu
to get
ya?
to the grand
Yeah,
finals.
dude, I want to see him in the grand finals.
He deserves it.
If there is a map that has been decided to be broken walls, I want him to be the first person seen.
I appreciate that dude so much. Thank you. You made my night.
Thank you, Jaire, or whoever the other cameraman is.
My goodness. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta get back on track.
East Villains, honestly, just go full Mr. Esme. How about the Esme's bad overlap?
Ada Khaled.
What's
Padang
going
pasir.
where? Is this Rome Khalid and then they picked up a Hilda for 3-mar? Is this going to be similar to what Oakland did earlier in the series against Team Liquid Philippines, that we're actually going to see Blade of the... So what happened earlier was Blade of Heptases,
Yeah.
Dreadnought Armor, then BOD third item Rush. Is Champs going to go the same way? Is this their way of pressuring Sean this time around?
Selena.
There's the Phobius and then the Selena.
Okay.
Picked up by Twisted Minds, so
I like-
that adds a little bit more flair to it.
I like this. I think TNC Pro Team were thinking that Twisted Minds will pick a mid laner that's more backline centric. Except this time around, Twisted Minds decide to play into the fight against TNC. So again, you pick up the Selena if you're going up against fast rotating roamers to help balance things out in the map. So I get the Selena pick, but there's a chance he might just get straight up blasted by the Luna. So I think it's going to be up to Sean to see how will he be able to consistently hit the missile arrows and stop the rotations of TNC Pro Team, as it does look like this is a Khalid role for Chaco.
At the end of the day, it's still a matter of skill. They have what it takes to at least go for the team fights if they want to. There's going to be enough vision for them to at least work their way into certain situations where they can win. But for TNC Pro Team, that is 3-mar holding on to a Hilda, something that we don't usually see, and a Khalid picked up here by Shaknu. I am quite surprised with how things are going here. I don't know if the other casters are so nice. So,
keren ya.
Leo, what you got going there, boys?
Hey, I'll tell you guys what we got going over here. We are just as excited to see Game 2 ahead of us. Again, it's me, Nice and Leo, to bring you Game 2 in this best of 5. TNC off to a good start. One game under their belt, a decisive one at that against Twisted Minds.
Welcome to Mobile Legends.
Already
Chaknu crossing
Dia kok
over.
udah di
Trying to
situ
get that
aja
level
guys.
I mean, you could be aggressive as a Khalid, but this is something else entirely. Back to what you were saying.
Hey, I was gonna say, after the game we saw the Mamba play
Oh,
on the
ini
Ganaconcha that was
ya,
taken
bukan rumor
MVP by
guys.
him, MVP. Now he's gonna play the Khalid. He had to burn the flicker early on, that's fine.
Jangan coba-coba
I'll tell you what, if he
Selenamit
went
guys.
like MVP status 4 and for whatever his KDA where he got the double on the Ganaconcha, he can do it here with the Khalid. And if it's built the same way we saw in the previous series, we might see that, man.
God, I think TNC just all huddled up and said, you know what, let's just live on their side of the jungle.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, this all
Hey,
goes to
is
it's
this
a
number
tape
17?
deal. This is number 17. That's the Mamba pool.
I'm pretty sure that conversation happened between him and Anthem. I was like, hey, Munak, you want to play this?
You want to? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Let's do it, Cap.
All right.
Let's do it.
That's probably what
It's
happened with the
coach
Hellcar
now.
too.
It's coach now. Okay, let's do it, coach.
All right, let's do it, coach. Yeah, but again, Chaknu is one of those players. This whole discussion leading into this matchup alone was, the old versus the new in a way. And I think you can't deny that effect that Chaknu has. And that's something that, I mean, even the audience here, the TNC Phoenix Army out here, you hear them chanting his names
That's right.
all the time, even in the last game.
We're talking about the only Hall of Legends inductee to not have an MPL championship under his belt.
And who's to say it can't start here?
Hey,
Get that championship.
Hey, if you're a Phoenix, the only thing you can do is rise, and that is rising to the occasion. First hurdle up. Look at 3 Mark Chakno taking the
Dapat
back door
kaca megang
over,
Yesus
compromising
sini.
that front line.
Wow,
The
dapat
Lunox
lancing
coming
guys.
in, but that's a little too much. Zaida can't catch a break. Throwing out that boat, taking down Kaloy. Lancey draws first
Iya,
blood.
guys.
Lansu jumping on the Chakno, not able to stop him. It's a trade. First blood for the turtle.
Yep, they get that first blood. That does go in the hands of Lancey too. That's great for a scaling mage like this Lunox that can pop off a ton of damage if given that the itemization, the timing on this power spike here. We're seeing the Lunox pop up more, and I know Hans mentioned this specifically in the draft. There's a flicker being burned by Sean. But, you know, that's one of the things, that burst damage potential and also the ability to bait out these abilities or these ultimates even from Twisted Minds by utilizing that brilliance is what makes the Lunox
Ini
still a
rumor
pretty good pick. You know, it's one of those heroes that has popped up
XP,
more
guys.
towards the end of the
Tapi
regular
dia
season.
You
keliling
know, they got
dunia
3
dia.
heroes that can do that. The Lunox,
Yep.
the Khalid, you know, Flicker, Rampaging Sandstorm, Runaway, Quicksand Guard, or even the Hilda.
Hilda.
Flicker through, run into a bush. I can do it all over again.
And this is the map for that, the dangerous grass.
Yep.
Man.
Extra ways to proc Hilda's passive. Looking at the item game, TNC up by about 200, 300 gold. It's a very small advantage.
Yep.
But still, you have to consider, 3-Mar isn't traditionally laning.
Oh,
Oh my
oh.
God, forcing out a brilliance. Out.
Bagus tuh skill satunya,
Lancey, now
guys.
look at this, they crash down on the Shan. They drop the Salmon Force and Chakno here, surviving through the...
Oh.
Oh, not gonna survive through this. Lansu takes him down and they clap back on Lansu. Zaida takes him. Kaloy barely
Telat
gets
dan
away.
apanya
Nosha
guys.
covering
Lisensinya
fire.
datang.
TNC, they get the winning trade.
Not only did the Mamba set things up with that flicker Raging Sandstorm, but then, even with the Quicksand Guard, yeah, he eventually went down, but he bought enough time for the rest of TNC to capitalize on that whole exchange. Again, it built up a little extra 500 gold for them, but these kills are going to the right members here for TNC. For Twisted, they're getting so close. That fight, there was so many low health bars of TNC to take, but they just couldn't capitalize on those kills. So now, second turtle of the game is up. MP has the ability to go ahead and start this up for them.
Mountain Shocker, Zaida knows exactly where everyone is. Benny Cutie and Lancey goes and takes that pixel brush. 3-Mar flushing Lansu out of it. Now Zaida
Hati-hati nih,
putting himself
Santina
deep into
pegangin
the
lagi
pit.
nanti, guys.
What's Chakno thinking?
He was there putting the pressure on Sean. He's going to go for them, but the arrow!
Oh my
Mati
God,
Bruno
Lancey
Carlos.
taken out just like that. Now Zaida looking to take down this turtle. Wants it, gets it. Retribution on point. Chakno dancing between 3, make that 4. Gets popped by Kaloy. An AOG making
Ooh.
sure that Zaida stays, and Zaida gets taken down. Double kill for Kaloy, and all 3 can do is run
Pembalasan,
around the
ya.
other side.
Look at all these bushes for me to run in. Man, Twisted. They took that Gatakacha. They showed TNC, hey, it feels good to have them now. 3-Mar will go ahead and stop them from taking some more damage onto that mid turret. But MP is going to go ahead and take the orange buff. He'll get on out. It was a good attempt. But I will say this for Twisted, if they go ahead and diminish that gold lead that was building up for TNC and now get themselves some confidence to go ahead and scale into this. Again, part of this whole game plan for them is to play around that scaling of a Harith for Nasha. 3-Mar still just kind of scouting things out here, but that big problem is these arrows, man. If they land on the right target, TNC, they gotta take care of the back line.
And what I'm sensing is 3-Mar's getting overloaded. All of these things that they have to do, Chakno and 3-Mar can't do by themselves. And they have to do all of those things the old-fashioned way. They have to run up to the targets, block these arrows, and flush out Twisted Minds from formation. All this while, TNC, we don't even know there's follow-through because you have to think about this. Benny's farming, Zaida's farming, hell, Lancey's farming.
Yeah. They're all just trying to get to that point where
Triple core lineup.
it is. It's expensive, man. And, that's why, again, when you look at some of these objective angles that they're taking, it's, let's try to cause some chaos on the back line of Twisted Minds, but then you leave your core members susceptible. And if they get hit by one of the arrows, then they're in a position where it's like, all right, it's almost an automatic kill because, Chakno and 3-Mar are off doing things on the back line. So that's something they have to watch out for here. But I think we're going to continue to see this. Some brilliance is going to be used. So Lancey will go ahead and use that up. But Chaknu, look at this. This is again,
kurang main sih
this is
guys.
what he likes to do.
Esensinya kayak nggak dapet
Regardless of what hero he's playing, this is how
gerakannya guys.
Chaknu plays this out. The last turtle of the game is
Kayak
going to
nggak
come up
bisa
here.
masuk
Twisted
dia.
has control of it. We'll see if TNC wants to contest.
Oh, they clap on the 3-mar, flickers through, might have missed that push, and will
Selamat
still
dia shieldnya.
survive. And now deep underneath this Saman force, they get flushed out. Chaknu pushed out, taken down. MP the King secures it. AOG, Zaida able to run away. Just in the nick of time, but there's not enough damage on him or Lancey to punish Kaloy. Twisted Minds get away with 2 out of 3.
Yep, they get that turtle. They're not going to be able to press in at that turret though. But look what's happening here again. This is these fights that are breaking out, that are going in favor of Twisted. Oh, Sean's gonna have to burn the flicker,
Oh,
so
Pateti,
we'll survive
Pateti.
there. But this is the thing, you know, they just don't have enough
Levelnya
damage to
masih
get
imbang
through
ya,
that front line of
satu
Twisted.
11.
That front line right now is a whole lot of Lansu, man. You know, on the Phobius, this is once again one of those heroes that we've seen do so well. 1v2, 1v3, he's able to go ahead and jump up, and then you throw in Kaloy on top of it. Kaloy, a lot of times, it's either the Revitalize or he just jumps forward to cut off that escape route of TNC.
And those heroes in this comp are much easier to execute a team fight from compared to TNC, who have to run around and scramble for an advantageous position.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to fight as TNC.
And that's why I'm looking, you know, maybe that game plan, maybe that idea is for eventually Benny Cutie.
Oh.
How many times have we
Conceal,
seen
guys,
the Granger
conceal.
pop off in the late game? The same could be said for Harith, though, in a sense here. But this might be one of the moves for TNC. It is an expensive lineup. It does have time to build up. But if you get to the late game, dude, you have great damage, physical and magic in terms of the Granger and having that Lunox there. Plus, sprinkle a little bit of YSS.
That's what, 5 or 6 minutes that you're hoping Twisted Minds doesn't roll you over with.
Yeah, maybe 8.
Tuh Lancinya juga udah kalah tuh guys.
I'm trying to be optimistic, but with the way it's going, Zaida's doing the right thing. He's being very sneaky about this. He's hitting that turret, get that cheeky push down bottom. Nothing Twisted Minds can do to stop it. And now it's making more sense what Chakra and 3-mar are doing. They're just making these weird rotations to keep Twisted Minds honest.
Yeah.
So they don't get a split push of their own. Oh my God. 3-mar. See, wasting the time of 4 members.
Eventually, though, too,
He's
3-mar, I was going to say, he's
farming
going to be able to
terus,
go ahead and tank up some of those arrows, some of that magic damage. He just gets the Radiant armor.
Joseph,
Yes,
it's working though.
it is.
You see how there's no more gold lead?
Yeah.
It's about 400, 500. You can almost think they're at parity.
They are. And with this, the first Lord's going to be up, but Twisted,
Paksa
they
nih
know
turtle kayaknya guys.
they've got to blitz this, but just around the corner is TNC.
Maksa guys, turtle guys.
Does jump
Dapat
into
tuh.
the back line. The AOG by Kaloy fighting underneath the Zaman Force. Down goes Chaknu. Nothing so far on the board for TNC as they blast away at Lansu. Lansu jumps onto them. Benny Cutie shoots him down. A stack
kena
for the
salah enak,
storm.
guys.
And in comes Shun.
mati, Cok.
Zaida could not protect him. He falls alongside Lancey. Traded out for Lansu and Sean. 2 for 3. Twisted Minds winning this trade.
Some major problems with that fight. Benny wasn't
Tadi
there
match
for
pertama
it.
kayak
He was a
positioning
little
nggak
bit too late
jalan.
to the party. The Lord was secured.
Match keduanya
And then
ngeres.
even so, you saw what happens when you got a lineup that is focused on causing chaos and being everywhere else. Your other members are susceptible. MP the King saw a path. He went on with the punctures, Phantom Execution, gets the kills. And that is a problem that TNC is going to have to solve as this game goes on.
And you know how bad it is for TNC that they don't deal enough damage yet?
How bad?
MP the King is building a super bruiser Lancelot.
Yes.
It has a brute force breastplate, so good luck chasing that with your cores.
You gotta chase that, man. Not only that, but you gotta watch out for those arrows. I love that we have an arrow count, by the way. Throw it out there, 35. 35%. Yeah,
1 in 3.
1 in 3.
1 in 3 hits. How many of those hits are lethal?
Yeah. And, you know, it's much more lethal, I'd say, towards that early game. But then when you kind of shift the focus over to mid to late game, you gotta think, all right, how good are those arrows? You gotta make them count when you do land them. But that's the thing, you know, if you land one on the right member here, like,
Is it 3-mar? Is he the right member?
he's not the right member. He should be tanking those. But that's the thing, you know, how long can you kind of withstand that with the rest of your lineups everywhere else?
Looking at the map, it's clear that TNC are struggling. 3-mar once again in the front. of all 5 members, forces a few responses. They're doing their darndest to protect this tier to a pop.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and hold on to it. Again, dancing around these arrows for now. But TNC, if we look at this, again, I think they're doing a pretty good job at damage control. Now, one of the main things, again, is
Cuma beda
Benny
satu
Cutie. I think
level aja.
if we see the next Lord fight break out in about 40 seconds, and he's there for the majority of the fight instead of being there towards the later portion, we're going to see that damage come into play here. He does pick up a Sea Halberd. You're going to lose his tier 2 turret, though, up top. But he's got some of the items that he needs to be a threat. You know, that's the main thing. And I think if he has the space to work with, now, again, it's one thing to have the space, and it's another to be in a position where you don't have to be so worried about getting picked off. That's the only problem I see here for Benny Cutie, is dealing with the pressure from Twisted.
Joseph, do you see this?
I see the graph.
Despite everything happening to TNC, Zaida is able to maintain a steady and close gold per minute rating to MP the King's 305 Lancelot.
Is that what, like, just YSS is able to do, though?
Hilda kayak
I'd like to say more
ini
what
juga,
Zaida's
nggak
capable of
main
doing.
juga
Zaida
Hilda itu.
himself being different here. That might be a difference maker, especially when it comes to this. Again, the tools are there for them to contest this Lord. It's not one of those things where it's just an easy Lord for Twisted to take. This is also a big item pickup here for Chaknu. Does get the Athena Shield, 3-Mar picks up the NT Karas. So these defensive items, as I was saying just about 6 minutes ago, is now coming into fruition. It's starting to come into play where it's like we have the defensiveness. And we should be able to last against these fights a little bit longer, but Twisted has also scaled up really well here. They're slowly taking this Lord, they're getting in position. This is going to be a full-on fight. They're utilizing the extra bushes they have here, too, on this map.
Oh, Chaknu knows that something is amiss in that little Y brush. Lord gets hard reset. Kaloy holding that pixel brush, looking for a taunt. 3-Mar gonna sidestep it. Both teams actually very conservative when it comes to this dance.
Yeah, this is a crucial one, I feel like, for them. 14-minute mark.
Uh-oh.
This will start it up.
I smell a blitz.
I don't know if they're going to blitz it here, man. I think they're still respecting what TNC could potentially do. They can also see that, hey, they're getting a little bit tankier. You know, 3-Mar, you see him when he takes an arrow, he just sits in the bush, he doesn't take any damage from this. Again, that radiant armor and just the scaling really helped here.
Queen's Wings on MP. When was the last time you saw that many defensive items on a Lancelot?
He's got to be, man. He's got to be. You mentioned this earlier. Look at the build he's got going on. You know, he's got a little bit of that extra damage, even that true damage. But yeah, the Queen's Wings and then the Brute Force, a staple in most of these builds for the Lancelots. A little bit of that extra bruiser mentality here for this time around for MP. I think, you know, he felt, he's like, wait, game 1, I was way too squishy on that Leo Martin. I got to be a little tankier here. But he's still got the moves on this Lancelot to work with.
He can get away with so much more.
He can. It's a lot more mobile, but man, this is a tough Lord to take. And all part of it is the dangerous grass, man. It's giving that opportunity for 3-Mar just to stay in there if he wants to. So Twisted is in a position where they can just wait this out.
Okay.
And delay it.
Interesting rotations by these junglers. Again, neither of them have to fully commit to it until the rest of the team agree to blitzing. So you'll see now there's more of a presence from Twisted Minds. They engage. That is MP the King with down about half health, forcing a response. 3-Mar gonna go ahead top himself up. Oh my god! A flicker rampage sandstorm onto Nosha. Takes him out of the map just like that. Now it's a 5v4.
I'm so surprised they caught him out. They're still going to be going for the fight. 3-Mar low enough, will survive. But now Benny gets the space he needs, but
MPC shutting down MP. They send Kaloy away. But not before Lansufo spinning his flicker as well. And just like that, in the snap of a finger, TNC take 3 plus a Lord for free.
What happened? It all started with Nosha. I'm surprised he got picked off there in a position he shouldn't have been in.
I call that the
Mereka
Phoenix
megang
Flash.
lot loh.
The Phoenix Flash.
Out of nowhere, they just take 3 dudes down. I mean, they set it up. It was a minute or 2 of sheer conditioning and setting up from across the river all the way into that. Oh, you know what? The Phoenix Flash specifically is Chaknu's flicker sandstorm.
It is, man. And again, I'm so surprised because Nosha didn't even burn his flicker.
You thought you knew the Mamba?
You
Think
don't.
again.
You don't. Man, what a turn of events.
What?
You gotta remember how long they stayed around that Lord, too. It wasn't a blitz or anything. They took minutes And now we get to that point. I said, hey, man, I think they need 8 minutes. Well, they got 8 minutes, Leo.
Exactly on the dot, Joseph.
apakah 2-0
Following
guys?
military time.
Military time at this point. That Lord making his way down bot. TNC just waiting for the moment to push down some of these turrets. They're going to make their way to go ahead and walk down this. That tier 2 in the bottom will fall with that charge from the Lord. And so now at this point, Twisted facing a pressure from every single side of the map. Every lane going to be pressured in here. They will keep the Lord there. They'll get a little bit of damage on this base turret. I don't think they're going to be able to do much but just clear out these minions. So far, so good.
Magic Sentry triggered by MP the King, so they know that the coast is clear.
Gak ada yang kena guys Selena itu tadi
Because
guys.
it's 17 minutes. TNC are knocking on other doors, about to crack their way inside the base. A brilliance from Lancy, forcing a response from MP the King.
Melihat
Oh my
situasinya kan
God,
cok.
takes down Lancy, but he's gonna pay the iron price. No, he won't. He lives.
Wow.
MP the King lives.
Mending gue usah pakai Selena dia guys.
The King definitely feeling
Pakai
way
Idora
more
deh.
confident on this Lancelot than the Leomord in the last game. You can't do that on the Leomord. Finds Lancy amongst three.
You know what? I would argue you can't do that with a traditional Lancelot. He took maybe 2 or 3 hits too much.
Yeah.
If he was rocking swords and blades. No, this man has a pair of demon wings and a full-on breastplate.
Imagine that as a Lancelot, by the way. He's built it.
He's a gladiator.
And he's got a gun. The prolific roar.
That's just in case.
That's just in case. That's a different timeline. You know?
Concealed carry. You put that away
Put that away,
for a
mister.
rainy day.
Hey, he's MP the King, and he's going to make it happen. But this is the thing. They defended against a strong push that should have been base turrets for TNC in most scenarios. They hold on to all their base turrets. Yeah, they
Right.
take considerable damage, but they put themselves in a position to go again for this next Lord coming up. You got to remember too, it was quite the dance. It was quite the extended fight for that Lord that they took. Now we're talking about a much beefier, evolved Lord that you have to deal with.
That's right.
This is going to be, I would say it's going to be more difficult for TNC to pull off what they did
Kita lihat
previously.
lagi.
Dreamar's going to get some information. He's going to
Bloknya
get
guys
spotted
dapat
out.
siapa
Literally
guys?
just annoying these members of Twisted Minds, just
Nah, kan?
giving them too much
Ini
stimuli
tulisnya
to
megang
respond
loh dia.
properly.
Man,
Tapi
Jacknew's trying to set up the same
digocek-gocek.
thing, by the way.
Gonna do it again.
Nah
From the
fokus
same
Lord.
angle.
Hey,
Nggak mau guys.
if Twisted Minds can go again, so can the Mamba.
So can the Mamba. I'll tell you what, it's Nasha holding on to this Lord. I hope Nasha doesn't get picked off again.
Nosha was his first victim.
He was.
I think it'd be very wise for
Mereka cuma
Chaknu to
gocek-gocek
try
Lord gitu
someone else.
aja guys.
To go a different route.
Maybe Sean.
Maybe Sean. I think at this point too, again, it's going to be different because just how, I guess, stronger this Lord is, and you can't really kind of blitz it. You know, you got to take this one a little bit slower. And Dreamar will
Ini nih
always be
nunggu
on that
momen
backside,
Selenanya
that dangerous
dapet
bush
guys,
right there,
tapi nggak
to be able to
dapet.
provide the information. They're holding it at half health. Look at Chaknu. See
Tuh
which way
lah.
he decides to go. Arrow lands on Dreamar. They're
Tapi
going to force the
dapat
fight.
ini
Here, it looks
guys.
like.
Conceal, he's got his eyes on Sean.
Udah
Lancy
mau
falls
Poppy
first.
sama
Lancy
Tito.
flickering back, and he finds Sean. Does not take him down just yet. Chaknu
Nggak
flickers
mati.
away. Goes the hard way
Oh,
around.
nggak
MP
bisa,
the
guys.
King hits him with the retribution. The rest of TNC
They won't fight?
about to collapse back on him. Kaloy has Dreamar trained on him. An arrow thrown out by Sean. Nosha underneath
Oh.
that conceal. Kaloy gets his immortality pump. The brilliance from
Masuk,
Lancy.
masuk,
Look at
Lancy,
it,
masuk.
Dreamar goes down. And Lancy and Dreamar
Nice.
fall. So does
Nice.
Zaida.
And yes, and
The rest of TNC fall
And
like
aja, guys.
bricks as it's just Chaknu left.
What a masterful fight for Twisted now. It's their turn to go and show TNC that they can fight too. And now with a full
Ya,
force,
tinggal
except
rumornya doang.
Mansu, they'll charge the mid-turret.
Chaknu's
Mati,
crashing
mati.
into the
Nggak
waves.
bisa, ya.
He is just buying time. But it's not going to be enough as the turret falls.
seru ya.
Twisted
Satu
Minds
sama.
still has a couple of minions left alongside 3 members. Ladies and gentlemen, Twisted Minds even the score 1-1.
And we've got a
Ngeri,
series
Bang.
on our
PH, Bang.
hands. Ladies and gentlemen, 1-1 right now. Great team fights on both sides, but TNC stayed a little bit too long for that last one. A great fight there. Let's go over to the panel to break down game 2.
Sean, Nosha, the super rookies are online here in game number 2.
What a moment! They get their first win in playoffs in their careers, and what a way to take it in a 20-minute game.
Yeah, with so many things happening across the map, I was surprised when I saw the clock. Like, wait, that was 20 minutes? We were getting closer to 21? Because when you have the Khalid and the Hilda, there's always so many things happening around the map.
Right.
There's always vision being taken. There's always someone trying to look for the flank. And that's what TNC were trying to get their wins through. Because Twisted Minds were showing off again their best quality as to why a lot of the teams were surprised by their performance. But the TNC, especially in that scenario, that Lord 2 fight, 15 minutes in, the fact that they were able to find the angle to make sure that Nausea would actually be the first target down after Chaco and Zaida found the concealed play through the left bush in mid. Then Twisted Minds were thinking, how are we going to find a turnaround? And MP the King was one of the reasons why they found it. Because when TNC Pro Team were going forward, Lance C decided to dance with MP, but then MP the King took him down. He phantom execution into a bush with 3 members of TNC. Still got the kill onto the Lunox and even got away. That helped equalize and balance things out for Twisted Minds so that they could set up a little bit better for Lord 3. And Lord 3 was just mechanics on mechanics. Sean hitting the Abyssal Arrow. This is one of the heroes that he plays a lot on his stream and excels with. We don't see it a lot in MPL Philippines Season 16, but he showed off as to why that is a deadly combo for him and Kaloy on a Gat at Kancha.
Honestly, I felt like this was a really good mix of both teams just showing their mechanical prowess in this game.
Yes.
There were moments where Shaknu kind of turned it all around with the Raging Sandstorm on towards Nosha that got them a bit of the lead for TNC. But for Twisted Minds, you were already saying it. There was no question that MP the King was the MVP of this game, even though there were other players that kind of finished it off just because MP the King were making a lot of highlight plays in order to keep Twisted Minds alive in this game number 2, because TNC had a momentary lead right from the start. They were able to take control of the Lord, the positions, because Dreamwar and Shakno were there trying to give them vision as much as they can. But for Twisted Minds, it was enough damage. Even though there was Lancy holding onto that Lunox, it was not enough evasion for them to get out of danger, because there was just brilliance, class from MP the King, and even getting out of that situation.
Yeah, Sean's gonna land the Abyssal Arrow onto Benny Cutie as he was trying to fight a little bit better into that one. And of course, Nausea cleaning out the back, while it would be MP the King to get the final blow there onto Benny Cutie's Granger. Khalid Chapnu tried to hold the wave for as long as he could, but at that point, the cooldown respawn timers way too long side of TNC Pro Team, and TNC were just outplayed, this time by the mechanics and the raw prowess of MLBB from the new school. Even though MP the King, we know, has been a veteran for quite some time, even alongside Lansu.
I mean, I gotta say, I think this is the first time all throughout the day that we have seen Phobius. We've not seen Phobius in the previous matchup, and deservingly so. Lansu was holding his own, and not only that, he was also creating a lot of opportunities for the rest of the members of Twisted Minds to come in. I retract my former statement a while ago that Lansu used to be the one who acts just as a sponge, because he is definitely more than that. He continues to make plays for his team, and man, I have to talk about Sean as well, because we even had, a hit rate for the Abyssal Arrows that was showcased a while ago, and he was hitting a lot of it, and even though it was like, 14 out of 35, he was missing on some of the other crucial opponents that he needed to take down, and that's exactly what he did.
Hey, a 35% plus rate in other sports, especially if you're thinking about basketball.
A three-point shooter.
Three-point shooter. You think of them as a shooter at that point.
They are a shooter.
Yeah, and you saw, that's why we were discussing the Selena here as a really great pick. Because if the mid laner for Twisted Minds was more backline-centric, you play around the strong formation instead of all dive, that would be easy targets for TNC to wreck their formation with the Hilda and the Khalid. This was a much tougher game game this time around for Trimar and Jacklu because now they have to contend against all dive. That's why they had to find surprising angles and try to outsmart Twisted Minds with being able to find stragglers. Example, like that one moment they found Nausea. But then for Twisted, for majority of the fights where it was in their comfort zone, you saw how many things TNC needed to get right just to make sure that they could get that team fight win. While Twisted Minds, where it looks like when it's all dive, Salmon Force, you have Lansu jumping on everyone with the Infernal Pursuit, then it's difficult for TNC to find a good fight.
You're looking at a Hilda and a Kali that was flexed by TNC Pro Team, I believe, in the third and the fourth pick of their drafted game number 2, which was quite unusual for us because it was, you know, up until the end we were trying to figure out which player is going to be using which hero, and at the time it didn't work out so well for them because they were just bodies trying to cover for the greater good of TNC. That's the idea that they had in mind.
This was only the second Selena game of Sean for MPL Philippines Season 16, and it is a win for him. Actually, no, I'm going to have to double check that. Oh, yes. This only is the second Selena game that he has. While because of the rush onto the Hilda, I feel like, TNC just showed their hand a little bit too early. That Twisted Minds were able to adjust to it on the fly. Love the Selena pick. And you got to see the adjustment, though, from the side of TNC Pro Team. I feel like a little bit more of the veteran wiles. At one point, Trimar was straight up just leaving the Phobius in lane, fast clearing that, leaving it, giving the EXP lane either to the jungler or the roamer, while Trimar himself is the one actually playing the role of the roamer, trying to disrupt the rotations of MP the King. So you see them trying to make it work. But then once it got to, again, the nitty-gritty of the team fight, so much easier for Twisted Minds to pull off.
Yeah, I think it was just a lot more complicated for TNC to pull that off compared to Twisted Minds because they were just waiting on something to happen. Like, sure, Twisted Minds was there and they were able to take game number 2. But of course, you can be featured as the next MPLPH Super Fan of the Month. All you have to do is to join the MPL Philippines official group, engage with the community, and just keep those interactions positive.
Yeah, share any MPL-related news and updates in the group for your chance to be named as the MPL Philippines Super Fan of the Month. We got a lot of those here. Yeah, we definitely got a lot of super
I don't know
fans
if you've been seeing them on like where? There, right over there.
Yeah, one of the
while the games were happening.
Yeah,
right?
I saw one of the women on the side of Twisted Minds was actually my roamer when I won the championship alongside the Twisted Minds at the Casters tournament. But by the way, you can showcase your esports skills and passion for gaming by organizing your own local tournaments through esports projects for everyone.
Participants in this program will be provided with special access to tournament modes, in-game items, diamonds, and more. Visit the MPLPH website for more information and how to apply. You know, we've got a lot of things cooking, especially for people who are into the games. We have our MRO, we even have the community matchups, the Infinix Fancy Club, and you know, I had to put an accent to it because I'm in English. But
Fancy Club.
I don't know if how nice who's gonna be saying it. I want to know more about it later on. But hey,
that's exactly how he says it. Fancy Clabbin.
You know what, Naisu? You can talk to us. Maybe Leo as well. I want to know if he has a different accent.
I'm gonna get destroyed once we're done with the broadcast. I think I'm gonna go straight to the hotel after this.
Well, same goes for me. I don't know about those two, but hey, put the festival in hand, because this is not just the thing that we've been doing. We also have some of the other activities outside. In fact, we have Odin there together with our community.
Talaga namang mainit na ang laban with the TNC Pro Team and Twisted Minds. 1-1 na ang kanilang score, pero bago yan at ipagpatuloy natin ang laban, may kasama ako dito mga super fans. Hello naman kayo kay Alfred and Justin, and like what you're seeing right now, meron silang mga merch na galing sa ibang season. Justin, pakita mo ang merch mo. Blacklist International, gaano ka na ba katagal na fan ng MPL Philippines?
Since nung sumikat po ang Blacklist nung season 7 po.
So ang tagal na rin, ilang seasons ka na namin kasama. Alfred, suot mo ngayon ngayon ang Echo Jacket na sobrang hype din nung time nila. Gaano ka nakatagal na MPL Philippines fan?
Fan na po ako ever since na nagkaroon po tayo ng legend skin ni Aldous po for M1.
Napakatagal na pala. So ilang seasons ka na rin namin nakasama. And ano naman ang team na sinusuportahan nyo ngayon? Obviously, meron kang jersey ng TWIS na Minds. Pakita mo naman din, i-hype mo ang kanilang merch ngayon. So Twisted Minds ka ngayon, Justin. And how about you, Alfred?
Today po, of course, TNC tayo today.
Magkaiba talaga kayo na sinusuportahan, ha? Pero bago tayo pumunta sa ating game, nanalo kayo ng mlbb merch! Congratulations! Alam nyo, nag-post ang MPL Philippines na merong giveaway para sa community